Hello people, I'm back. Hope you're doing alright. I'll be sharing some stuff about probability part 2 today. Nothing crazy or outlandish. Just going to help you out with a little bit, go over a few more problems. Hope you're feeling alright. Closing down on Santa's big day and the birthday of Jesus, so hopefully you're healthy and feeling alright. If you know this tune, feel free to email me the name of it here when we get a little bit further along. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. So, the other day I talked to you a little bit about the chance chart. So if you watch that, this is probably just going to look like a repeat of that, but just going to run through it again real fast. So at one end we've got 0 chance of something happening, and that's 0% chance of it happening. At the other end we've got 100% chance of something happening. Alright, and the 0% chance of course is impossible. At the 100% end, of course, that means it is certain. In the middle, you got the 50-50 mark, okay? That is called as likely as not. Okay? And then on either side of that, of course, we have the 25%, which is unlikely, versus the 75% over here, that's likely. Okay, so if you go from impossible to certain, you're going impossible. And if it's close to 25% unlikely, 50-50 is as likely as not, 75% is likely, and then 100% of course means it's definitely going to happen. So when you get some of these questions, if you work on freckle like you're supposed to after the lesson gets done, okay, if you got something and it's comparing something that happened at 0.20 versus something that happened at 0.85, okay. Alright, well 0.20 of course is going to be down here and closer to unlikely. 0.85 is going to be up here closer to between likely and certain, so this is highly likely. So you would say, of course, this has got a smaller chance of happening, this has got a higher chance of happening. So just look at those decimals, because likely is unlikely is 0.25, that's 0.50, that's at 0.75. Okay, so just look at those decimals, take a look at your chance chart, and figure out if it's higher or lower based on what the words of the questions are, because I know I went through and did some lessons on freckle and that looked like that pretty much would cover it. Okay, now when we're talking about independent events, I want to remind you that you need to simplify. Okay, simplify the fraction answer. So if you type in some fraction like this, let's say you get an answer that's 4/12. Okay, if you type that in, it's going to be wrong, because that can be simplified. Okay, because both of those have a common factor of 4, and you divide them both by 4, and you take it down to 1/3. Okay, or if it comes out to be 4/10, don't type that in, because that's going to be wrong, because both of those have a common factor of 2, and that could simplify down to 2/5. So please make sure whatever fraction answer you get on these things, you simplify them down. Alright, so I'm just going to run through a few more of these questions from the other day. If you've already done this, then you know what, you're in good shape and good for you. Alright, so let's take a look here. If we do not white in A, okay, so if we do not white over here, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 for not white. And A is 1 out of 3, or 1/3. Multiply those together. 4 times 1 is 4. 5 times 3 is 15. So then you got 4/15. That won't simplify, I don't think. If you go down here to the bottom, you will mark out one of the 4/15. Okay, only mark out one answer at a time. So you shade that one in. Alright, let's go to one in that next section down. Let's say we've got not blue and 5. So I want to remind you on the number cube now, okay? It doesn't show you all the numbers, but you have to remember on the number cube, it's got 1 through 6 on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Alright, so if we do not blue, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, 3 of the 4 are not blue. And then the chance of rolling a 5 on the number cube, of course, would just be 1/6. Because there's 1 5 out of the 6 options. Alright, so if you multiply there, we got 3/4 times 1/6. Now you could cross reduce these if you want to, but I'll just go ahead and do it straight up like it is. So 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 6 is 24, and then of course that would reduce because 3 goes into both of those, so you take that down to 1/8. 3/24 reduces to 1/8. Alright, and if you go down here and look at the bottom, you can see there are a couple of 1/8s. So just go down there and shade it in. Okay. Alright, let's do one of these marble questions. You can see you've got, of course, got your bag of marbles over here. It says you're going to pick one, replace it, and then pick another one. So every time there's going to be 6 marbles in there. So if you do white and then not white, let's do that one. This one right here. So what's the probability of pulling the white one out? That would be 2 out of 6. And 2, 6 reduces to 1/3. So I'm just going to go ahead and reduce that. Okay, 2, 6 reduces to 1/3. And then not white would be 1, 2, 3, 4 of them out of 6. And 4, 6 reduces to 2/3. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify that. So 1/3 versus multiplied by 2/3. Of course, together 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 3 is 9. So when you multiply both of your probabilities together, you get 2/9. And if you look down here, you can see there's a 2/9 right there. So you'll scratch that one out. Again, remember, just remove or scratch out one answer at a time. Okay, so that's how those work. We've got a joke or a riddle for you today. Okay, the last one was what type of cars do elves prefer to drive? So I got another elf question for you today. Here you go. What do elves like to put on their candy canes? What do elves like to put on their candy canes? So if you know what they put on them, email me that answer and send me the song from earlier. You know how to do it if you want the extra credit. All right. Merry Christmas. All right. I think that'll do it for today, sports fans. So if you know the answer to the riddle, you can send me that. Don't forget to make sure, if you're working on Freckle later, which you probably will be, okay, use the chance chart up here. It's got some of those kind of questions. The lower the decimal is, the less likely it is to happen. The higher the decimal is, the more likely it is to happen. So make sure you do that. Make sure you simplify your fractional answers like we talked about. Simplify. If you don't put in the simplified answer, it's probably going to count it wrong. So make sure you do that. Alright. Until next time, people, it's ciao for now. Hasta la vista, baby, and sayonara. Peace.